What's up guys and girls, Raj here, back with another video. So I am a senior solutions architect working at AWS. So when you guys hear that, you guys assume that I started my cloud journey long back. Maybe I used to work at cutting edge technologies, maybe I used to work at startups. None of those is true. I switched my career to Cloud and DevOps from legacy technology. So in this video, I'm going to share my entire career journey and also share how I switched my career to Cloud and DevOps. So a lot of you guys and girls are probably thinking that you are stuck in your current job, stuck in your career. So I'm making this video hoping that my career journey will help you change your career to Cloud and DevOps. So let's start from beginning. I actually went to engineering college for electronics and communication and not computer science. And I actually failed my first campus interview. So Cognizant or CTS came to recruit from our college, and that was my first big interview. And I was so nervous that I couldn't even get sentences out. It was so bad that the interviewer asked me if I have a problem with stuttering or if I used to stutter when I was a kid. I still remember that day. I was super sad. A lot of my friends got the job from the campus, and I was thinking, what's gonna happen to me? I couldn't get this job, so I don't know, future might be dark. But anyway, after I graduated, I actually joined an electronics company in my stream. So I joined a company called Megatherm. So as you can see, I did not start my career in IT. So in that company, I was not doing any DevOps, no cutting edge technology, no coding, nothing. I was designing electronic circuits, and I was also going to different factories in different areas and fix the issues they were having in their electrical motors, induction furnace, etc. So one learning from this is, even though I did not get any IT experience, I did gain a lot of experience on dealing with different kind of people. Like in this job, I have to deal sometimes with like a factory floor worker who just works the machines. I get to talk to managers, I get to talk to executive managers running the steel plant, etc. So that did help me. So one of the important things, and a lot of DevOps architects, cloud architect, tech leads, they don't say this enough, that communication and presentation skill carries a lot of weight when it comes to doing an architect job. It's not just about knowing the technology and putting the design together. It's also how you convey your design ideas, how you work with people, can you influence large groups, etc. But anyway, after 1 year, I got like FOMO, or fear of missing out. A lot of my friends, almost all my friends, joined IT companies, and they started going to America, Europe, England. So I'm like, you know what, I will try this IT thing and see what happens. So actually I tried in Cognizant again, and this time I passed the interview and they hired me. But they hired me for mainframe, like super legacy technology. So they trained me in COBOL, the database is DB2, and then we had bad job in JCL, etc. And I was working for JP Morgan Chase through Cognizant, and JP Morgan Chase really liked me, and then they brought me to US. So I was still working for Cognizant. So when I came here, I was still doing mainframe coding and stuff. But one thing I learned was the system design problems are almost same in all big enterprise projects. Like even though I was in mainframe, I was learning how to deal with large-scale database like DB2, a super large-scale database, and I was learning how to optimize queries, what to look for, how to design like a 3-tier architecture with mainframe, etc. So those design concepts came into play later on in my career. But again, at this point, no cloud experience, no DevOps experience. And then in 2011, I joined a American company called Verizon, but that's also in mainframe. So at this point, I was doing mainframe system design, mainframe coding, mainframe testing, etc. So when I was in this company, around year 2014, 2015, one of my close friend, Dipayan, told me, Raj, take a look at this cloud and big data thing. A lot of the projects are moving the data from mainframe to this cloud and big data to do the analytics and some processing because it's very expensive to do that kind of work in mainframe. So that's when actually I started studying cloud, and I have to say at that point the name of my manager was Dennis Fink. He was super encouraging. Like, he never said that, no Raj, don't learn this. He actually said, okay, this is your project deliverable. If you deliver this on time, then if you want to study this big data and cloud on the side, that's fine with me. So Dennis, if you're watching this video, thank you. He's one of the best manager I have worked with. So then me and my friend started studying this cloud and big data, and then I got certification in the Hadoop certified big data developer. So the project I was working on in Verizon was super big. Like, this is like a billing project, so it's like a huge project with a lot of people, right? Like, billing in an enterprise company is an intense operation. So what I did was, in that group, I found out the group that's dealing with big data, and I told them that, hey, can I help you with anything? Like, if there is a small task that you want me to do, I would be happy to do it. And for that group, it's like a win-win, right? Because I'm part of the same big team. They did not have to hire me. And there are a lot of painful tasks in analytics, like scrubbing the data, running some machine learning algorithm, doing some basic note-taking, basic reading of the output of the algorithm, etc. So they gave me those stuff. So that's when I started diving into hands-on big data stuff. So at this point, Verizon also started migrating into AWS. So what I started doing was, I started doing a small proof of concepts. Like, in mainframe, you have COBOL. So I would I will convert one COBOL program to a Python program, spin up a EC2, run in it, move some data from DB2 to RDS, and then do this small proof of concepts. And I kept adding more and more layers to it. Like, okay, after I did that, then I started learning DevOps and tried to implement this using DevOps. So one learning is, a lot of you guys and girls think that you need to learn everything, like Jenkins, code pipeline, Chef, Puppet, GitLab, container, serverless, EC2, etc. to switch your career. That is not true. So when I was learning all this, even after a year, I only learned EC2, S3, RDS, CloudFormation, and Jenkins. So I learned the basic building blocks, but I learned them very well. So when you go for an interview in cloud or DevOps, interviewer is not gonna ask you questions from all over these cutting edge corner case technologies, right? So if you are good at one DevOps tool, one infrastructure as code, and the core cloud concepts, they know that you can learn those stuff and you will get hired. But anyway, getting back to my career journey, so after I did a couple of these proof of concepts, I really liked cloud. Like, I really liked how I can just spin up EC2 and run my code, whereas to do that in mainframe is very, very difficult, to integrate with other systems, run front-end stuff, create APIs. It's a big hassle. And around this time, I started going to a lot of internal gatherings. Like, when I was in Verizon, there was a thing called Verizon Tech Day, where the cloud group, DevOps group will come and present, and they will invite the whole company to teach them like how cloud and DevOps works. They will bring in speakers. And I started chatting with the Cloud and DevOps group people, right? So I asked them, hey, what do I need to learn if I need to switch? And they told me the most valuable advice I got was, make sure whatever work and proof of concept you are doing, you save them on GitHub or some internal repository so that you can show your body of work. So at that point, whatever proof of concepts I did, I started saving them in Verizon's internal repository as well as some in my public GitHub pages. So around this time, this is around 2015, 2016, the Cloud group had some positions open, right? The Cloud Center of Excellence. So I wanted to switch to Cloud full-time, so I applied to that position. Remember, even at this point, I only knew the basic stuff. I had the Solutions Architect Associate, and I only knew CloudFormation and Jenkins. I did not know Ansible, I did not know Chef, I did not know Puppet, and I learned Python on the side. On my evenings, I learned Python, so I knew Python, so I started writing code on Python. And I am confident that all the other folks who applied with me for this position, they were working on a little bit more advanced technologies. I was the only one from mainframe who applied to this cloud position, but in the interview they only asked the core foundational concepts, right? Like if you cannot answer basic questions on CloudFormation and EC2, what is the point of you knowing Ansible, Chef, all the corner cases? Okay, so one learning I have for you guys and girls is define the scope of what you are going to learn. So if you want to learn DevOps, put down your scope. Like I'm going to learn Jenkins, and I'm going to learn how to deploy into containers from Jenkins. I'm going to learn how to do Blue Ocean plugin, and that's good. You cannot learn all of everything in limited amount of time. Similarly, if you want to learn container, put yourself a scope that, okay, I will learn all the basic core concepts of container, but I am not going to bother about service mesh, and I want to deploy a 3-tier architecture on container. So they actually offered me the job, and this is again within Verizon. So that was a decision point for me. So I think some of you guys and girls will relate to this. So in one hand, I had this job in mainframe. I established myself. People respected me. So if I stayed in that job, I would get promoted in a year. And then I am trying to go to this new position where I don't know much about Cloud and DevOps, right? So that's the part where I got out of my comfort zone and I took the risk. So what I told myself is, what's the worst that can happen? Like if I join this cloud group and let's say I fail to learn cloud and stuff, I can always go back to another mainframe job. So if my old group doesn't take me, I can always get a mainframe job because I already have experience there. So for you guys and girls who are always thinking like, oh, I feel so comfortable in my current position, people know me, but you also want to switch to cloud, always think, if you try to switch to cloud, what's the worst that can happen, right? Like you always have your current job, and it's not rocket science, so even if you move to cloud and then you don't like it, or it's like too much, you can always switch back, right? Because you already have experience in your existing field. So after I joined this project, I learned a lot, right? Because then at this point I was working with a lot of other projects in the company. I helped migrating them from on-prem to the cloud. I implemented serverless technology. I started learning container. Now note, I was already 35, 36 years old, right? So a lot of you are thinking, is it too late for me to change technology? Am I too old? So if I can do it at 35, 36 years of age, so can you, right? So it's never late to start learning. And after doing that job for a couple years, at 2019, I applied at AWS, and then I got into AWS. AWS is my third IT company. So I stayed in Cognizant for 7.5 years, stayed in Verizon for 8 years, and then I joined AWS 2 years back. So it's not like I switched around companies every 2-3 years. I went to startups. Like a lot of you stays in one company for a long time. So it doesn't mean that you cannot change. So always remember that you cannot change the past. Like if you keep thinking, oh man, I did not switch companies, that means I cannot switch in future. That is not true. The past does not dictate the future. And it's good that you stayed in one company for a long time. That means you have some relationship in the company, you can study, you have a little bit more leverage, and also it's easier to switch career in cloud or DevOps in your current company. Just find out the DevOps and cloud jobs in the company, and you have to take a little risk of going out of comfort zone and joining that group. So as you can see, I did not come from a cutting-edge technology background. I did not study IT in college. I even failed my first IT interview. I started learning Cloud and DevOps when I was 35 years old. So if I can do it, so can you. So I want to end this video by showing one of my favorite quotes. So this says, do what they think you cannot do. So I always keep it around my work table to keep me motivated. So what is your situation? Let me know if you feel you are stuck or you want to switch to Cloud and DevOps. In the comment, feel free to ask me questions, like give a little bit of the background, like, hey Raj, I am in this company working on Java. I also do some ops work. Should I do this or this? What certifications should I get? Feel free to ask on the comments, and then I will try to answer and give you some directions. Alright, hopefully this video helps you guys and girls. If an old soul like me from legacy technology with no IT education can do it, so can you.